Here's a headline that they don't want you to see. A lot of people, they're not paying attention, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to affect everybody. American Muslims in Michigan prefer Green Party candidate Jill Stein over Harris and Trump.
Ma, are you voting for Trump or Kamala Harris?
Neither one of those, mother.
The Democrats, they've been pretty dismissive to their most loyal voting bloc over the last several decades. They don't prioritize us at all. And obviously, way too many black people are still cool with that. I don't know, they like abuse. I can't speak for those folks. But let me tell you about another group that they're disrespecting. Arab Americans, Muslim Americans, they said they have something to say. They're tired of being disrespected and ignored, and they're protesting, walking away from Kamala in droves.
I want to make one thing very, very, very clear. We are going to do everything in our power to make sure Kamala Harris doesn't win. Vote for, if you want Donald Trump to win, say that. I will vote for Satan if I have to. I don't care who we got to deal with for the next 4 years, as long as you motherfuckers know that you f***ed up and you guys are going to deal with some type of repercussion for what happened for the last 10 months. I don't care who we vote for. I'm voting for independent candidate, either Jill Stein or Cornel West. I know they're not going to win, but at least we'll take progress to hopefully one day having more than 2 parties and 2 candidates where we have a system with actual options. Until then, cope. We're going to make sure, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that does not win and the Democrat Party loses the election.
If you can't listen to Palestinians telling you that Kamala Harris funded and supported our genocide, therefore we are not voting for her, therefore we are not going to support her publicly.
For those of us outside of the Arab American Muslim communities, you may not know much about what's been brewing within their community. All I gotta say is they're definitely one of the biggest threats to Kamala's campaign. How? Because one, they vow to take away their support if their demands are not met, and they're actually making moves to follow through.
My main problem with this entire argument is that you're making it seem that I want Kamala to lose and Trump to win purely out of spite, when that's not really the case at all. The main point that I'm trying to get across is that I want the Kamala administration to feel threatened by the fact that she might lose the presidency seat if she continues in her current trajectory. The problem is that a lot of you aren't even open towards any criticism towards Kamala or Biden, because then there's a chance that they might lose the presidency. However, I do have to say, if the politicians don't have to really earn your votes, then how will anything ever change in the country you're living in?
My name is Imam Abdulaziz. I'm co-chair of Abandon Harris in Las Vegas, Nevada, or in Nevada per se. We cannot, in good conscience, support a candidate who has enabled and supported the genocide of our people in Gaza. A candidate who ignored the majority of the American people who are calling for a ceasefire and an embargo on weapons used to kill civilians is not one we can stand behind.
There are 52 days till the election, literally seconds from now. As a historical sociologist, I can tell you that the greatest hit that the Ummah has ever suffered took place in the last year. That will make the president and the vice president one of the greatest enemies of this Ummah. We each have an obligation to go out to speak the truth.
All my life, and I have never been gladder that I get to vote in the state of North Carolina, that I get today to vote in the swing state of North Carolina. I have been following the news, as all of us follow the news, when our loved ones are literally being shredded by US-made bombs. And we spend hours after hours every day checking to see if someone we know has been killed or has been found from under the rubble. And every day we hear more bad news. So while I have lived my life on the news, I also saw the magnificent interview on CNN that Kamala Harris did, in which she was asked, and I'm quoting, "Would you do anything differently? Would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel. Would you do a change in policy in terms of arms? And her answer was no. Very clearly, she said no. She would not do anything different than what President Biden has done for the past 10 months. She said yes to weapons, yes to the weapons that continue to burn through the bones of our children and our women and our men.
If Trump wins, you Democrats are fucked!
This is not what you call democracy.
I am so sad that they failed you today!
A few weeks ago, students from the University of Michigan asked if I would run for one of 2 open seats on the university's Board of Regents. They needed an official who would listen to them, not slander, mock, and attack them, as had been happening all of last year and continues to happen today.
That was twice nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize.
I agreed, and in less than 3 weeks, these students organized a mass, inspiring campaign and showed up at the Michigan Democratic Party convention with so much spirit, energy, and conviction.
In 3 weeks, you did more than my congressional campaign did in 6 months!
The Lansing Center where the convention was held was filled, not just with students, but with community and with university faculty and staff, all hungry for change and really hopeful that they could meaningfully participate in the democratic process to help bring that about.
I want to translate for you all that when Kamala Harris said yesterday, I will always make sure Israel has the ability to defend itself, she meant I will continue to supply them with weapons and money and resources. I will not support an arms embargo. That is what I heard. Did anybody else hear that? Okay. And let me be very clear where I am standing today after 4 days of the DNC waiting for a policy. Today, I am not going to vote for Kamala Harris.
We are sending everything that could make our country, fight with all these issues that we're talking about. Healthcare, education, student debt. We're sending all of this money to actually destroy life, destroy land, destroy all kinds of life, not just human life, any kind of life. So to me, it is the issue. Like I said, it is the biggest issue. It's an active crime scene. It's an active genocide. You are bombing our families with our money, and just one good speech is gonna win us over again? I don't think so.
They've been heavy supporters of the Democrat Party for a while, but now you see their registration patterns are definitely changing. A lot of their new registrations since the last election seem to be right, and then the remaining left are moving to third-party candidates. A few of them are going to Cornel West, and he's definitely a problem for them also. But let me show you the lady that's got them shaking in their boots right now. Meet Jill Stein, ladies and gents. This is why they have their Democrat shields crashing out on the Breakfast Club.
Bring it back, y'all. Bring it back.
Respond.
Go ahead, Angela. Go ahead.
Well, I would like to respond.
Yeah.
This is the framing of the empire and the oligarchy and white supremacy and colonialism, which wants you to feel that resistance is futile. This is about voter blaming and voter shaming.
Let me just.
Angela Wright had a whole meltdown. Let me tell you why. This right here is the research they don't want you to see. Jill Stein is the preferred candidate for Muslims in Michigan over Kamala and Trump. And not only is Jill Stein outperforming the major candidates with Muslims in Michigan, but she's also got more support from Muslims than Kamala and Trump in 2 other swing states. That's Arizona and Wisconsin. And this is pre-debate numbers. I can only imagine Jill Stein is doing even better now with Muslims. The Arab and Muslim population in Michigan is pretty large, big enough for them to definitely sway an election in Michigan on their own. And this did not just start when Kamala was installed as a candidate. No, they've been saying they will protest their vote since earlier this year. That's how long they've been saying this out loud for everyone to hear. They felt more disrespected when Kamala went to Michigan and refused to meet with them.
But I am speaking now. I am speaking now. I
I'm here because we believe in democracy. Everyone's voice matters, but I am speaking now. I am speaking now. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking.
By the way, that was a stupid move for Kamala the cosplaying chameleon. Yeah, this was cute to the sassy black feminist shade room crowd, but this further ruined her relationship with a key group of folks in a key swing state that she's gotta have support from.
For Kamala Harris to threaten people in Detroit with Donald Trump was inappropriate and utterly ridiculous. If the Democrats lose the race to the White House, it would be because of their elitist mindset as displayed by Kamala Harris, basically saying, if you don't shut up and vote for me, I'll bring you Donald Trump. Well, Madam Vice President, we don't owe you our vote. And if you lose to Donald Trump, it is because you are disconnected from your base and voters felt that you did not represent them.
I have to remind you, votes are not counted in the shade room. Kamala cannot win the election without the Rust Belt swing states. That would include Michigan and Wisconsin. PA is another. You have Arabs and Muslims vowing not to support her in those states. At the same time, these polls showing that Jill Stein is getting so much support from them. I don't care what they say. This is horrible news for Kamala. We're talking about a voting bloc they can usually rely on that they really need in Michigan and Wisconsin right now. Out of the 3 Rust Belt swing states, Kamala, she's got to win all 3 in order to win the election. Those 3 Rust Belt swing states are mandatory, not just 1 or 2. She's in dire need of all 3. And if they continue to ignore the Muslims, well, they're prepared to make a statement by making her lose intentionally. They definitely have a point to prove. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Should Kamala be worried about the recent Arab American polls? Let me know what you think below in the comments. Special thank you to my sister Starlet. I appreciate you, Starlet, for all of your support. If you want to show your support for the channel, you have to use PayPal for now. The PayPal link is below in the description. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.